How's it going, everyone? This is Anon. None of this is financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. So I'm going to go ahead and get things started. Gotta go ahead and let the Discord know that we're running. We're not going to send out the message to the all. So I'll just go ahead and link the ones that I can. Oh, you are first. Is it Jian? Is it Jian? Is that how you say it? Yeah, first and only one. No, there's 4 people in here now. They just haven't written anything yet. All right. Let me link this. All right. What's up, Jason? How are you? Jan. All right. Jan and Jason are here. Go. Please talk about Redbox. Yeah, we can talk about Redbox. That's fine. I mean, immediately what jumps off the chart to me is... I know we're just going to cover this real quick. So look at the daily. There is a gap here. So right now, I think I told most of you guys, I have long dated puts on this for like September and some August. And I think they're at like 16, and some of them are at 13, and then some of them are at 950. But I do have some calls because I believe at some point we will fill this gap again. So I'm playing this both ways. In the short term, I'm actually playing it bullish because I think they're going to fill this gap at some point. That's around $13, and at that point, if it runs up that high, I'll probably start buying some more puts. So yeah, that's kind of what I think right now about Redbox. Is I do think at some point it will fill this gap here, unless it just completely, like, they announce a merger and then it just falls apart. But I do think at some point we will fill that gap, and when that happens, I'll buy more puts long dated and get them cheaper. But yeah, like this gap down right here will fill at some point probably, because there's only a certain amount of time before they announce the merger. If they do announce the merger, though, or if they resume the warrants, you will see this absolutely just fall through the floor, and then it will never fill that gap probably. But we'll see. DTC. Yeah, if you want to cover DTC, that's fine too. DTC. Oops, not here. So DTC is a weird one, right? The reason I say it's weird is because the stock is getting like no volume. Because honestly, I don't think retail knows what to make of it, because I don't know what to make of it, because none of this stuff makes any sense. For example, I can show you guys my DTC spreadsheet. And this doesn't make any sense. And I've confirmed this with Bloomberg and a couple other places, and none of this stuff, like, so Bloomberg has reported, let's see if I can find the screenshot. Right here. So I'll open this. Bloomberg's reporting 80 million between institutions and insiders. There's only 63 million shares outstanding, and Bloomberg's reporting at 80, which means it has a negative float. I went through and I calculated every single one of the SEC Form 4s, and that's all the like insiders. So that's like the CEO, all these executives, and then they also have these listed inside of them. So I calculated them all up and came up with 53 million shares, right? So there's only a float of 10 million. Well, I think if we go to Ortex, I think that's about what they have. Let me just check real quick. I'm trying to log into. It's weird. My Ortex logged out, and now I'm trying to log back in. There we go. Okay, sorry. I think it's because I signed in with Google, and here we go. So, oh, can someone link this inside the Discord? I didn't do that. I'm not going to push out the everyone announcements anymore. People said that they can't disable that, and so because of that, yeah. So Ortex is reporting 14.74 for the free float, and Fintel is reporting. Fintel's being slow. Fintel's reporting a free float of 11 million. So this is weird, right? Like, straight up, this is weird stuff. Like, so they're reporting after short interest, free float of 11 million. They said the float's about 14 million, which I added up every single one of these. Now, what's possible is they didn't include like this one. So if you took these guys out of there, that would give you about roughly 13 million. So that's maybe what they're doing is they didn't count ATER, but they have a filing for it as an insider. So, I mean, that's possible. That's what they did. So if we wanted to be really conservative, we could do that. Yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing that's going on here. So let's pretend this is 14 million, like they said, right? They're reporting, 2.7, 2.8 million shares short interest. But here's the thing, right? The institutions, you would then add these guys here, this basically 4 million shares. You would add that to institutional ownership then. And then if you added it there, you still get a negative free float. And I've been trying to reach out to the company and try to get clarification because at this point, like, I don't get it. And I've asked professionals and they don't understand either. And, I think they said it comes down to the LLC, but it's one of the most strange structured things I've ever seen as far as a float goes. So, I think we talked about it yesterday. Like, this is the corporate structure, right? So Summit Partners owns all these Class A's, the Class B's. I think it's like about almost 30 million here, and it's 14 million here. And they're an insider, right? But they also have the Solo Brands, which is the kayaks, the Solo stoves, the Chubbies, and the paddle boards. So those are all like in the Solo brands, and then the Solo stoves are a little bit separate. So like we own this, but there's like ownership from the pre-IPO holders, and there's ownership of the Summit Partners that own both the Solo brands, which is what the stock trading is trading as, and also this LLC. It's just a really weird, convoluted thing. And here's the thing, like, I don't know if anyone knows what's going on here, but I know that this is a very strange thing that's going on. And what eventually was going to happen is if this gets any sort of volume, it moves. So what I can show you is this. Let me just go back a little bit, right? So when we had this bounce here, right, you see this stock on not a lot. This is not a lot of volume. This is like 2 million shares, right? On 2 million shares, I mean, it was moving significantly up and not really that much. And as the volumes died down, they've been able to kind of push it back down. But if you actually look at the daily short interest, they're shorting 70% of the stock each day right now. Like today, they shorted 70% of the aggregate short of the volume. Like yesterday, they shorted 50%. The day before, 52%. The day before that, almost 60%, 58.99. They're shorting it basically every single day in this time frame. So I'm not quite sure what they're doing. They're obviously trying to keep the stock down. And like I'm trying to find, like, right now it's ranked number 51 on the squeeze score on Fintel. Like, I can screenshot that and bring it over for you guys, right? So it's like moving up the squeeze score, but I don't know what to make of it. Like, I'm like, like I have zero idea what to make of it, because like it doesn't have that much short interest. But yeah, this is from DTC. It's now number 51 out of 5,000 that they're tracking, and it's got a 90. Like, I mean, something's going on with it. It's strange, and I'm here. Let's bring up some other ones, right? So I just want to see, like, technically it's higher right now on the squeeze score than Aterian, which is weird. Like, Aterian right now is ranked number 79. So DTC right now has a higher squeeze score according to Fintel than Aterian does. So it's weird. So I don't know what's going on with this stock, but I know that when it gets volume, it moves, but it doesn't have any volume right now. They're trading like at 500,000 shares, and this was more than the day before, because on this day we only traded like 200,000 shares or something like that. So they're shorting this stock. Like, I don't know what they're doing with it, and I don't know how many shares there are, and I can't get anyone from like IR to talk to me and confirm what this is. So yeah, so you guys wanted to know about DTC, like that's where I'm at. I'm showing a negative float, and they are magically moving up the squeeze scores with having only 2.7 million short interest, which means that I think that I'm right, that the float is all messed up, and these guys probably know it, but they're just trying not to let retail understand that, because this thing would obviously move very quickly. But they don't have warrants either. Like, there's like a whole bunch of things going. Wow, they changed around how short interest is reported now. On everyone see this on Huh. This is a new Ortex view. I've never seen this before. All right. Oh, wow. Don't got a lot of people in here. We got 18 people, that's it. I'm just letting everyone know that. So here's the thing. You guys tell me, like, a lot of you are part of the Discord. Is it? Hey, thanks, Jason. Appreciate that. I've been getting people telling me that they're getting annoyed with the nightly YouTube, like, at everyone, and getting, spam basically. And so, I don't know. Do I stop doing it? Like, if people feel like that, then I don't want to alienate people and say, like, this thing's annoying, and then they would have to turn off notifications. Obviously, you guys are in here, so there's 26 now. That's a little better. All right, so. No, keep doing it. It's not bothering you. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe people just turn off. Like, there's not that many. When do we put out important notifications at this point? Like, I'm not calling out tickers like every single day, so like, it's typically just what we do. All right, I'm gonna do the ATER one. I guess if you want to hear, I mean, if you're subscribed, you should get it on your phone anyway. But I guess some people don't look at that. I'm getting. Somebody. Okay. Somebody wrote, you can mute any channel, join someone's Discord, and then scolds them for sending out notifications. That actually is pretty funny. And why is that blocked? Why does it say I blocked them? That's weird. I've never blocked anyone before and it said I blocked someone. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do it for everyone. At everyone. And then we'll link the YouTube. And if people don't like it, then I guess they shouldn't join the YouTube video. How about this? I won't ask for likes. I'll just say, come hang out and talk stocks. There. And then I guess I'm supposed to tweet. I'll finish up. There we go. We'll finish it up with some Twitter. All right. Twitter, tweet it out, and copy the link. Come hang out. Talk stocks. Okay. There we go. Now everything's done. I think in order for ATER to go up, the world needs to cool down, which needs... Alright, we won't get political in here, but what I can say is at this point right now, let's look at the SPY real quick, because I think that will show us kind of what's going on. So the SPY right now, and I think I have it on here a little bit, shows it a little bit better. Where is it? It's weird. Okay. It should pop up in a second. So let's pull up the SPY real quick. Because obviously everyone was worried about what today was going to do, and then... Wait, what's going on here? Okay, I was like... I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Alright. Here we go. So we finished up still, right? Just the end of the day wasn't quite as much, but we still finished up. So let's look at the daily, right? And I showed you guys where I think it's going, which is I do think that we come through and we're going to fill this gap down here at 345-ish. Like somewhere in this range, we're going to fill this gaps. So this was all back there. Zip Trader Charlie cracks me up though. What's going on with Zip Trader? I haven't watched any of his stuff in a long time, to be honest with you guys. Since I started streaming, I just haven't had time to watch YouTube at night and go to bed and wake up in the morning and just go to work. Work's been crazy, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to watch other people's stuff. And oh, thank you. Appreciate it reminding. Yeah, so all right. So I do think we're going to fill these gaps here. Because if you go back to the election cycle, all these gaps right here, we're going to fill those. So the question is, when do we do it? Do we go straight down, kind of chop around, and then by the time it's like, July, would that be it? Or does it go just hard in late June, early July, and just boom down to this level? 350 is close. Yeah, I mean we're closer there than we are to up here. So I mean, I think we fill those gaps. So I actually have a couple SPY puts for 350. Actually, is what I chose because I think it's going to go to 340s. So, but I did buy a couple of SPY puts for January. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of weird stuff that's going on. So it literally whipsawed a couple times during like the Fed minutes. Like if you guys want to go and take a look, like we were straight up whipsawing back and forth. SPY more so than us, but like, I mean, these just push down all the way up, consolidate, push up, push down. Like, it's hard to make money in this market when you're just not sure which way it's going to go. And like the market feels almost like it knows it's going to go down. It's just like, well, how many times can we go up though to mess you up and fake you out? So like, I do think eventually we will get down to the 350 levels, 340s, fill those gaps. And then, from there, it's anyone's guess. Do we keep going or do we, so. But this obviously has an effect on us. Now, if you're talking about Aterian right now still in this loading zone, right? But you have, hey Becca, how are you? But we do have this thing where every single time I've noticed it gets pushed down to the very like lower limits, you're gonna see usually a spring happen. And you can see it on a lot of stocks. And like I was looking at one today that I thought was interesting. Let me just see if I can pull it up. I don't even remember which one it was. What if the shorts don't cover by September? I mean, short interest right now is, was it roughly 9 million, something like that? 9 million. There's 7 million shares that will come in September, so that's all that would happen. It's just the stock would get diluted down slightly, and then there'd just be more shares. They would have more cash, though. So, I mean, it's kind of like it's longer then. And then you're hoping for Aterian to just kind of use that money to actually do more business, hopefully by that time. Flex time. Anon, you missed my question. Okay. Let me go back up. All right. I did miss a section because I was talking about that stuff. All right. 19%. What's 19%? I went all the way up. Slap the like if you can. Or maybe you guys were talking about DTC back then. All right. What's up, Luke? What's up, Carl? I read the operating agreement for LLC and the unit breakout. Okay. Did you find anything, Carl? These nightly updates, listen to them while I'm at work. Nice. Welcome, Luke. All right. So, no, keep doing it. All right. I think you YouTube too frequently. It's like nothing happened with the ATER and people are getting burnt out. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, there's not a whole lot to report right now because we're basically in a consolidating pattern in the lower range. And so until something exciting like this happens, I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about. There was not a whole lot to talk about back in this range when I was starting to do this stuff. But that's what happens. I mean, honestly, I should probably just take this time, these couple hours, and just start dedicating them to making like actual short videos. But people seem to like the live stream right now, so I'm doing it. And I'm trying to, when I get some time back at work, hopefully in the next, couple weeks, things will calm down a little bit. I just have to, get everything kind of under wraps at work, out in the field. And then once I'm able to get back in the office more, I hopefully should be able to push out some videos. I did bring my laptop to my office, and that's got a better GPU, so I can actually produce some videos. But we'll see. Let's see. I never understood the AMC GME swap thing. Yeah, so like equity swaps is like a long, like I need to probably write a DD on like how the swaps work. But basically just imagine it as like kicking the can. Like they're basically swapping. No, I don't. Let me do this. I will either make a video, like a video with visuals and stuff like that, so I can properly do this before I attempt to basically go through like how equity swaps work. But yeah, it's basically just kicking the can. Like, just trying to see, like, you're trying to think of like I need like a pen and like a writing tool. I probably should buy those if I'm going to do this, because I don't think I could draw like graphics out. But okay. But it basically it involves banks and them swapping out like securities for like futures, and then it gets really complicated, and I need to probably write down like all this stuff for you to like do it proper justice. But if you'd like, what I can do is I'll write out either a DD on it with my like Aterian one, just to kind of make sure everyone kind of understands it, or I can try to make a video which does that. So I'm just trying to go back and read through everyone. Okay, removing options trading from some platforms today is a huge time. It could go to moon or zero. About Redbox. Wait, they removed options trading from Redbox? I was able to trade options all day long. Like, when did they remove them? Z22. All right. What do you think will be the next news for Aterian? I don't think they're going to have any news until probably next quarter. I do see on the stochastic it looks like they have started crossing over on the oversold territory. So we could see this MACD curl up again and start moving higher. Let's see. I may be the worst technology advanced out there is. Don't open the notification. Simple as that. What are they expecting? ATER squeezes to 100,000 per 5 shares of trading after hours and 2 hours. I may be the worst technology advanced there is. Don't open notifications. Simple as that. Yeah, I mean, if you're bored or if you're like this is stressing you out, just set alerts and move on with your life. Like it's much easier to do it that way. Like I'm used to just watching tickers and watching money go down go down, go up. It doesn't really excite me. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, all right, this is being better than yelled at by Zip Trader. Wait, he yells at people? All right. Your daily streams in DD are the heart of this play. If you guys like it, then I'll keep doing it. It just, All right. I think in order for ATER to go up, the world has to go down. That we talked about that. But yeah, I think overall the whole market is going to be chopping, but at the same time, I do think that we will see a spring at some point, and then we'll see some upwards price movement. I do think we're going to be back in the 4-5 range at some point pretty soon. It's just how these things go. Like the longer they keep it down here, the more dangerous it gets, because like if you leave a stock down here that's somewhat popular and it's just sitting there, and say they get down to 210 again, right? So they tried to do the double bottom at 210, the 52-week low, right? I mean, you're letting that hang out long enough. Retail's going to scoop up these shares. Like, all right. Like, what's right now the risk, right? Every time it pops below basically 250, right? It tends to pop back up, right? So the way I'm looking at it is this. I've been stacking the 250 calls for 2024. And I think other people have too, because, I mean, let me see if I can pull up the options chains real quick and see if those are starting to fill up, because I think they're honestly a smart thing. Like, if I go to Aterian, pull it up. System is temporarily unavailable. There we go. Okay. Yeah, like there's already 1,500 open interest on the 250s for 2024. And there's also, let's see, 1,200 open interests for 2024. Like the cheaper they're making these things, the more people are buying them. Like 57 people bought them today. Like, and it looks like some other people might be selling puts for that amount. I mean, there's a good amount of open interest down there too. Yeah, I see a lot of 350 puts for January. There's about 2,000 there. Let me just screenshot this so you guys can see it. Okay, let me screenshot it, and I'll just bring it over. Okay. Here we go. So, here's some Aterian options, just so you guys can see. And look, so like they're filling up down here, right? That's a good amount of open interest for a leap. Like these things are starting to like, get cheap, and so people are like, all right, I'll take that bet. Like you're telling me that by in 500 something days the stock has to be like $4 or something like that to break even. Yeah, okay. Like I'll take that bet. So, and you can see, like, let's see, up here, I think right now the ones for, was it July? Did I miss the one? Let me see. Is it this one? It has the stacked options chains? Or did everyone roll it? I mean, this one right now that we're in has a good amount of open interest, but the problem with that was I think everybody was expecting you guys remember everybody was like, oh well, the executive order is going to cause MOAS, and I told everyone I didn't think it was going to, but I was like, yeah, I could be wrong, but this week it's definitely not causing MOAS. So I'm just looking. It looks like in 2 days, as long as they keep it above 250, there'll be about like 200,000 shares that will be in the money, roughly. So, I mean, this could move to 3 without a ton of, like, if they just, just looking at where everything is. Okay, so I'll paste this too, so you guys can see this week's as well. Okay. So here's this week's. So if you look right here, like there's a fair amount right here of open interest. And, these, I wish people were, I mean, I get it, like they're like $30, but like, I don't know. Like, to me, if I was looking at this, like, I'm not playing options this, like, close in. Like, right now, I'd rather spend that money on these 2024s because I think they are having more value down the line. Now, if you wanted to actually get really good value, you would probably buy, like, the $10 ones for 2024 because they don't move as much, but, they'll hold. They're not going to be as sensitive to the delta, but at the same time, everyone's got their own plays and investment how they want. But to me, the 250s are probably the safest ones in my opinion, and so I'm gonna go ahead and keep getting those if they're gonna keep giving them to me for dirt cheap, pricing. Like I was able to buy some at like 130, I think $1.30 per today, and that's a lot of theta you get for that price. So eventually there's going to be a couple thousand shares open interest that has a whole bunch of stuff in the money, and we're going to see how that goes. But yeah, the option chains are starting to like fill up on the later dated ones, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes eventually. All right, so let me go back to this. So, Orgo, and make sure to zoom out. Okay. So I'll reduce these ones so it won't be as big. Oops, I don't want to go too far. That's probably good enough. So Fish wants me to look at Orgo. Orgo. All right, and we'll be on we'll do the daily. Okay. So Fish says Orgo, make sure you zoom out. Did he write something after that? I don't see anything else on. High probability of profit. All right, so what am I looking at here? Let's take a look. So, I had a high of 24 back here, and that was on April 12th. See the candle at 3. Here, I'll have to go. Let's go look at the 5 minute. Yeah, I can go to the 1 minute candle. So 3 o'clock would have been right here. Oh, wait, hold on. Zoom out and see the candle at 300 on a 5-year chart. Okay. I was like, style, time frame. So we'll do 1 day on a... So daily... Huh. What was that? So they squeezed back then? Was that like their second day ever? That's weird. Like, how do you even interpret that data? It went from like $11 to $3.10. What in the... Okay, does anyone know the story? How did that work out? Because that looks like the second day they ever traded. They squeezed to 310. What was the volume? It wasn't even that much volume. It was like, what, 27 million? 30 million? 29 million? Do they have like no... Let's see. No, I don't know the story behind these guys, so let's see what... Is that like a glitch or... Strange. Very strange. Like, I don't even see stories on it. Like... Alright. That happened in... What year was it? $2018. On their second day of trading, they just squeezed to 310 for some reason. That's so weird. And then nothing since then. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I don't want to fit studies. So we were just looking at the second day ever trading short squeeze. Or is this something you're looking at trading? The beating shall improve until morale improves. Monty Python. The beating shall... Okay. Is there anything to this one? I just want to double check to make sure. Is there any dilutions? So we'll go to our buddies at Dilution Tracker, and we'll go Orgo. Don't see anything there. About 13% short interest, 33%. BlackRock owns them. Vanguard, Morgan Stanley, Solaris, Geo Capital. How they do in the last 10Q. Let's take a look. All right, let's Let's see. All right. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty good there. Looks like they have pretty high float. All right. Net revenue is down slightly. Gross profit is about the same, but slightly down. So gross profit's down. What do these guys do? Okay. They are a leading regenerative medicine company focused on development, manufacture, commercialization of solutions for advanced wound care, surgical sports medicines. Got pre-market clearance from the FDA. Its customers include hospitals, wound care centers, government facilities, ambulatory services, physicians. These aren't the guys that make the Genesis organs. All right. Oh, getting tired, but okay. It looks interesting. Numbers falling off a little bit, but overall, it looks like it's okay. I have a kidney for sale. Yeah. That's. I didn't see any warrants, so that's. Let's see. So what we're gonna do is click on here, type in warrants. That's warranty. If circumstance warrant, so no warrants. How about notes convertible? Yeah, I don't see any dilution, so yeah. So yeah, I mean it looks interesting. I don't know what the catalyst would be, but it does look like the MACD is about to cross over on it. It's still got room on the awesome and the TTM squeeze, so we'll see. But overall, it looks like an interesting one. Go back to Aterian. It's one of those ones, huh? Insiders and Toots own about 180 million shares, and shares outstanding is 120. Yeah. What's kind of like DTC, right, Chris? Like, it's reporting. Yeah, Orgo and DTC both are reporting larger institutional ownership / insider ownership than there are shares. So Orgo and DTC are both ones that we might want to watch. Yeah, something's going on. I'm gonna get the bottom of this. If it takes me all month long, I'm gonna figure out what's going on with DTC. But yeah, I was gonna say that one does look interesting. It keeps happening to a bunch of places, and like, I don't know if they're like glitches and they just don't know, like, they're not reporting correctly and the SEC is not paying attention, so it doesn't flag these things. But like, yeah, the SEC should be stepping in and going, hey guys, how does this make any sense? And they would go, oh, yeah, I guess that doesn't make sense, does it? Alright. Anyone else doing anything fun? It's about 11 o'clock right now. Everyone good? You review anything, look at anything, speak now, or... Yeah, the SEC should be doing their jobs, and they're not, so I'm in agreeance. Yeah, they're too busy watching porn. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that things are getting better, but, I mean, just watching... Check the Aterian FTD data. Okay, we can do that. Did anyone look at it? Okay, so like it looks like the last one they had was about 162,000 shares failed to deliver. 20th was the high point at 327,000. On the 17th, they also had 326,000. It's a good amount. That's a good amount. But at the same time, let's see, 162 was the last one. All right, let's take a look. So, this FTD data covers from here to here. So, from the... Oh, that doesn't look right. Hold on a second. Wait a second. I think I'm looking at old data. Hold on. Because the stuff I'm looking at right here is from here to here. All right, I've got to go to the FTD data real quick from the SEC. Give me a second. They don't have June out yet. I'm going to send you the link. I mean, I just went to the SEC website and they don't have it there. What FTD data? flex time. I don't see where you wrote. I went through, I think, every single one. What? Oh, where do you think we are on the Wyckoff chart? Sorry. Gotcha. I mean, let's pull up a Wyckoff chart and we can take a look together. Everybody gets to vote. Okay. And where's the other one? All right. So the question is, let's see if I can shrink these down. If we can zoom out a little bit. So first off, the question is, are we up here or are we restarting it? So let me show you both. Okay. So the question is, are we coming down off of here, and this is basically where we started the Wyckoff. This is then our run up over here, and then we go back down to hit the spring. So if we're using schematic 2, then this would be our spring test down here. We would retest the spring and go even lower possibly. So I would say we're in phase B if I was betting. So if you have this downwards, right? Downwards. Now, granted, this is a lot more compact. These things can stretch out more. But in this case, what we would see is we would go down here. We'd hit this one here, auto rally back up, which could be here. Or we would go back. Let me see what we did in here. So they did go up here. So that would have been the first part. Let me zoom out again. Okay, so pulling those two back up. So we push back up in here, so that would have been this one right here. We would have gone down again, which we did, and then we would have gone up to this big one up here, which right here would have been the peak. That would be the peak here. And then we're pushing down. Now the question is, because we're pushing down even further down over here, my guess would be it's not perfect, and trade view would probably be a better way of visualizing it, but I could see us, because I think this flattens out a little bit on the TD, but I could see this going down, hitting the maybe 210 would be the retest, or it could go even lower into like maybe the 190s, and then we would see an instant move up from there. So I would guess if we're looking at schematic 2 that we're in phase B right now. After we just had this run up here, and we came down, and now we would push off of phase B, and we'd be consolidating. This would be basically the 4 or 5 range in this area, and this would be 6, 7, 6, 8 maybe. So possibly this is the 4, 5s, and this is 6 and 8 on the Aterian. Or are we in schematic 1 where, we went down, which would have been over here. We would have gone up. Make sure this. Right, so we come down. Okay, here's one. Okay, so we come down here. We hit that low, go up to here, go down again, and then this one would say, I would say we're probably in 2, to be honest with you. I don't think we're in 1. But the spring would be down here in phase C. So what we would have seen is we would have chopped around here, pushed down, and then we're going to look for one more really low price, which would be our spring test, right? So we spring, test, retest it, and then go back up. So it all depends on where you think we are on Wyckoff. But what do you guys think? You think we're in 1 or do you think we're in 2? Are we in phase B going into C, or are we in, yeah, some Fish says he thinks we're ending B, about to enter C. Do you guys think it's... I'll put it back over here for a second. There's 1, and which one's 2? Which one do you guys think we're in? Do you think we're in 1 or do you think we're in 2? So here's 1 and here's 2. I would lean towards probably 2. But just remember, it's not going to be perfect for Wyckoff. It's a general idea, but it can shape out slightly different than the exact shapes that they have on here. So you don't have to follow it line by line, but you just have a general sense of what's going on with it. So Spooner thinks we're in 1, which means that we're coming up probably on phase C, and then we would have our retest of the low, and then we would go back on up. All right. Well, this has been fun. Probably just even entered C, if barely. Some people think it's 1. I'm seeing a lot of 1s. Yeah, I mean, it could be. Just Investor says 2. All right, Anna, can I ask one last question about Redbox? Sure, go ahead, shoot. This will be my last one. All right. Okay, hold on. So did you check TD Ameritrade making options only sell for Redbox? No. I mean, like, I was literally trading their options this afternoon, so I don't know what you guys are talking about, that they are not letting people buy or sell. Like, I literally was buying and selling them this afternoon. Like, I saw no update. Then it's the tweet. I'm telling you, I used TD Ameritrade, and I was trading options on Redbox. So I don't know. I'm on TD and was not able to buy. I was. What time were you guys trading? Two. Oh, maybe you guys were talking about the. Redbox. I don't see anything here. If I go to options, I mean, it looks packed. I mean, the call side's just completely like dominated. Like this could run. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on where they go, because if they drop the price basically anywhere below, how many shares are outstanding for them? Offhand, does anyone know? Shares outstanding is about 12 million roughly. And they're sitting there with about, let's do the math on this. 8221. And they've got a couple million shares locked up at not four, 251, $5. They get a good amount of stuff that's in the money right now. It's not like the entire float, but it's a good amount. They're already on the reg show. They've got a gamma ramp above it. I mean, mostly the option chain's stacked for this week only. So if it doesn't squeeze this week, then unless people are rolling their options tomorrow or Friday, it's see a lot of puts for August. For October's got a ton for November, a ton for January. So yeah, I mean, listen, if it goes, it goes. Like I told you guys, I'm playing this short term long, and I'm gonna be basically, once it moves up, I'll be buying puts and playing it back on the way down. But I have more right now puts than calls. I've got some $15 calls because I figured if it's gonna move really high and really fast, and so you know. Hopefully those go in the money for me, and then I take those profits and I'm going to buy long-dated puts for it, because when the stock moves down the other way, it's going to move fast and hard the other way. So that's my opinion. Yeah, I think I bought and sold the OCC. Okay. Free float's about trigger for the squeeze, extremely high cost to borrow. Yeah, I mean, like this thing can move. Yeah, I mean, so I'm not giving you guys financial advice. So here's what I see. There's a gap here, and they will probably fill that gap. And it may fill tomorrow, or it may fill the next day. I don't know. Now, the stochastic is crossed over bearish, and at this point, it looks like if they push this down, it's going to cross over, on the MACD bearish. But at the same time, what I can tell you is gaps like to fill, and they don't like having a gap sitting there above that. So the question is it going to fill tomorrow or maybe Friday and then dump? I don't know. Like, you could see a violent move on this stock. Obviously, there's more inflow than outflow. It's a very, people are jumping in this for, obvious reasons. There's a high cost to borrow, but here's the thing. I want everyone to be careful about this. Whenever you're dealing with something as volatile as this, you're going to see very, very fast movements of the stock. So what you want to do, not financial advice, but what smart traders would do is you want to make sure that you have a hedge in place to make sure that you don't lose your shirt going only one side. So say, for example, tomorrow runs up to 15 and then for some reason it just drops like a log, right? And you had been buying all these calls and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not going to be good for you, because if it drops like a rock and you were long up here, you're going to be stuck. And when they go through that merger, you're not going to be very happy with the results. So, I'm not telling people what to do, but I'm just saying you do want to protect yourself that way. Yeah, it limits some of your upside, but at the same time, it's better than, and something this risky, I would be very, very, very cautious, is what I can tell you. Gaps love getting filled. That is true. All right. The TD error message when trying to buy a call says, opening transactions for this contract are not being accepted. I mean, I don't know. I was trading this afternoon and I didn't have any problems with it, but I mean, I guess I don't remember the last time I made a trade. I guess I could look it up, but I'm going to go to bed. What do you think of Indo? I mean, Indo is the one that got hammered yesterday, right? Yeah, the Doji. I think they're kind of like HUSA. Them and HUSA are like very similar as far as like they're getting nailed down right now, and they don't want these things to run. So I think Indo, HUSA, and another oil one, or IMPP, are all in the same boat of they don't want these things running, and so they're really attacking those three. And I think oil futures were down too, which didn't help anything. So, all right. I try to set one up for tomorrow. Seems selective. Weird. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to see in the morning about TD, what's going on with that. I'll try in the morning and see how. I'll tell people in the Discord, so I'll let you guys know if I see anything different. But, all right. So, in the meantime, you guys have a great evening, and I'll go ahead. Wait, what happened with AMC? All right. What? Anyone know what's going on with AMC just before I go to bed? All right. What's happening with AMC? And what's the stock that goes green when SPY is down? SPXU. There's also XPXS. So the inbound tweets ask over and over again for a share count. AMC has done a share count 6 times in the past year. We know that 516 million AMC shares. Some of you believe the count is much higher. As I said before, we've seen no reliable info on so-called synthetics or fake shares. So he just said People are getting upset with Aterian. UVXY. Oh, so just so you guys know, UVXY is different than SPXU. SPXU is a 3 times bear inverse ETF. UVXY follows the VIX futures. And just so you guys are aware, VIX futures are different than the tracking the VIX. So like if you're looking for something like the VIX, UVXY does not track the VIX. It tracks the VIX futures. It combines the M1 and M2 futures for UVXY. So it does not directly say when the VIX goes up, UVXY goes up. Usually they travel together, but they don't necessarily. So I just want you guys to make sure you're aware of that. So Indo cost to borrow around 300%. Yeah, that's pretty good. What is... They changed around Ortex. Have you guys seen this? Ortex is different now. Huh. So you were talking about Indo cost to borrow is around 300%. Remember I was telling you it reminds me of HUSA? HUSA's the same exact thing. HUSA's average cost to borrow right now is 314%. So those two oil stocks and energy stocks are weird. They're both like basically traveling together and getting nailed down at the same exact time. So I think Indo and HUSA both have a chance of moving on up. But we will see. I just know that HUSA's got a small float. What's Indo's float? Let's see. Indo. Indo stuff's taking a while to load. I don't know why. Okay, so Indo's cost to borrow is about 300% too. What's up, random? All right. Well, Ortex is being slow, but apparently apes are mad at Aterian, and because he said that they can't find synthetics. Okay. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great evening. I got a timeout on Ortex. It crashed when I was trying to search for Indo, so we'll pick it up tomorrow and we'll research it. But you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And if you're not part of the Discord and you enjoyed it, here is the invite for it. I'll link it right here. If you're new, come join us, hang out with us. There we go. Yeah, if you're still around, if you can like the video, that'd be great. Thanks so much, guys. All right, have a great evening. Should probably hit stop streaming. There we go.